Hi Scott, sorry for the delay in getting you your mock-up because you have an existing site and there's a lot of content already. I encountered quite a few glitches that I had to fix, and what I'm about to show you is not finalized. It's good enough for me to show you, but I will refine it and tweak it and finalize it some more. But before I can do that, I would like to have your opinion on colors, fonts, and everything. So without further ado, this is what I propose here. As you can see, this is on my local host. It's not a live site. I've used your blue, the shade, the exact hex shade that you gave me, and instead of the brown, I've been using purple and white, gray, two shades of blue. So as you can see here, things are animated as I scroll down, and the free gets underlined here. Um, and then, oh, disregard, this is a glitch. This would not be there. And then here we have the speak and engagement. So this all goes full width, but I'm repeating the exact same colors. This here is black. It's very, very dark navy blue, but that's the black that I'm using on your site throughout. I kind of copied and pasted some of the information you had on your homepage and moved it around. So the text itself in what I'm showing you, disregard, that can all be changed, but I wanted to show you what it looks like with those colors and the things coming in. So in here, this would be a book carousel with all of your books. It's just that there's only one book populated right now, so it looks empty. But if you imagine, this would be, I think I've got it set up to be 5 wide, and then people could click through, navigate through it, and if you click on the covers, it takes you to the individual book page. This here, again, I'm splitting, I'm using different colors, but this is pointing to the blog page. If you were to click here, that's the same as this. And then the latest podcast would be retrieved here, and I'm assuming that you scheduled one to go out on July 12th, because otherwise that would not make sense, but that must be what happened. So the date would be retrieved here. This would always be that, but the image itself would be the featured image from that blog post. And if you click watch now, this actually takes you to the individual blog post, the same as if you click on the image. I'll show you that shortly. And then this is a slideshow of testimonial, and those testimonials exist in a different end of the site, so you could add more. You need an image, name, whatever they are, like a byline and what they said. And as you notice here, there's some minor discrepancies with the images. This one does not have the white. This one does, but it's not centered, and this one does as well. It's because I reused the 100 by 100 images that you had for those people on your site, but some of them already had a circle. The way I've got it set up, you don't need to create the white circle, actually the white background with the circle picture. What I'm doing with the CSS here with the code is I'm creating the radius to be a circle. I'm hiding the rest of the photo. So if you do have images of those people without the white circle, we could probably update those images. I'll show you all of that later. For now, what you need to focus on is whether or not you like what I'm showing you. And small details can be fixed. Like you see, sometimes I'm using gradients from dark blue to gray here, not dark blue, medium blue. Here, this is your family. So again, the text can be tweaked. And then if people click learn more, they are taken to the about page. And then this is not something we discussed, but while I was building the site, I thought this would be very handy to have on your homepage and possibly as part of your footer. So do let me know if you like this thing here, and I could make it be part of the footer on all of your pages. As it stands right now, the footer is all of this stuff here. So follow, a bunch of social icons. This is technically a menu, so you could add more pages to it. It is just fine print and regular website stuff. And also on the right hand side, you see those share, it says share at the top. So if people click on that, there's a pop-up prompting them to log into Facebook and then share this particular page. So if they're on a different page, they would be sharing whatever other URL. So this is technically part of the header. I've got your name. I've got the tagline for the site here, which you could update at any time. And then as I scroll, the menu gets anchored at the top. So yeah, disregard that image. That technically should be a Goodreads badge. I just forgot to reconnect that. Anyway, so that's, and if I reload this, so you see the animations, if I go super fast, which most people would actually stop to read things, but you saw the book move in, this moved in, now this moves in as well. So there's a lot of things animating as we scroll down. But again, people would not be going that fast. That's just me showing you all of that. If people go to the books page, now this is a mishmash of various things, and if we can rephrase the thing here, but I've got an expandable area. So the information that you had from before is hidden. And then people who are interested about bulk purchases or signed copies, if there's a way to shorten this, maybe we should shorten it. But then people can see the books, and then all the books would be tiled here. And then people can click on the cover and be taken to the individual book page. I'm just going to click on that and take you to that book page. So this is the cover. This is the Goodreads badge that should be on the front. This gap is too big here. I will fix that. And there's also, I forgot to display, there's going to be publisher information here. That actually should be appearing here. For some reason it's not appearing, but the publisher company name and the ISBN would appear below the cover above the Goodreads badge. Title, tagline, this is the sales blurb, and then you control the text here. I'll show you the back end of the books, but you control if you want to say pre-order it or if you hyphenate ebook or not. And then I've got a bunch of because we're going with images, I need to know the images you'll need. And I don't know, I did not look into Harvest House and Christian Book to see if they sell all formats or if they are only one of the 3 formats. So do let me know about that, and I can easily remove or add icons to different rows, and I will show you shortly the ones that I currently have. They're not all populated right now, and I will adjust the sizing of things, like this one is bigger. Those types of details, ignore. I just want to show you the rough, it's not finessed just yet. This is a collapsible excerpt, and I think I want to put the gray here a little lighter, but you could put titles, you copy and paste the first chapter. There's a way to put a SoundCloud excerpt as well as a YouTube excerpt. So this is just a fake URL that I retrieved. I was on your channel and I randomly picked one. So I know this is not necessarily what you would want to put here. But if you were to put a URL in the back end, this is what it would come out as. And then this is, you control the text. And then this is the video that you had on your current book page. I think this one is the correct video when you can control the text here. This one here, we could rephrase this, but the gist of it is if you were to create a series, quote unquote, for each pair of books. So if you've got a regular book and then the workbook, let me know if you can come up with a different way to say this. But then we could have the regular book and then the workbook next to it, and just by the cover people would know what it is. They could click and then see what the workbook is and then consider buying that. Below that I have testimonial. Normally I put them above, but the reason why they're below now, it's because if you see there's a big gap here, that's because one of them is really long. Like this guy's testimonial is really long compared to this guy. So if they could all be the same height, that would be much better, a better interface, and that way there would not be a big gap and I could bring this up higher. I typically would maybe put it here. I don't know. We can adjust the placement of things, but I wanted to show you this here. So you would have 3 bits of praise. These are not the same as on the homepage. So these are per book. So you can say whatever you want that each person said that is relevant to each book. So in the back end, this is where the books will live. So the books will be listed here. This is the only one I've got. You could add as many as you want. And then the series per se are the pairs of book and workbook kind of thing. So you would create a series for each one of those. The testimonials are down here. So those are the homepage testimonial. So I've got 4, and then when you edit those, you see that there's the name, and we're using Gutenberg, and this is not working because it's not connected to anything live, but name of people, what they said without quotation mark, and that's their byline. And there's also in here, if we switch to testimonial, this is where the image goes. So this is where I recommend replacing those with not the circle, like a regular image, not a .png, but like a regular solid image, which I don't know, there's so many images. I'm not gonna waste time here recording this, but if it was a regular image, the circle would be created by my code. So we don't have to create circle images on there. But this is how you would add more testimonial, and these are for the homepage only. I'm gonna get out of there and then show you, this is one of the books. So if I edit, so if I went back to books and then click to edit this book, this is this interface here. So This is where you put the title. That's the sales description. And then under book, if you switch to this, then you will see this is where you would select the series, which I haven't selected yet. I will remove genres for you because that's not important. Author, I will leave because you've also got your wife's book in case one day you wanted to create a page just for her book and a page just for your books, kind of thing. We could do that, but you don't have to worry about that. Tags is used, so right now it's got home most recent, and this is what determines which books, if I go back to the home page, the one that gets retrieved near the top, so coming soon, you could control that text, but this is how you control which book appears here just by selecting a tag, which you can also do by quick editing. And then you could deselect it for this one, update, and then select it on a different book. And that's how you can quickly update the home page to feature whichever book. So the instructions I will refine once I refine everything, but each section here, and Yoast, I don't know why Yoast keeps coming up way at the top. I just want to bring it down. There's a lot of sections. Anyways, so there's the instructions. Like I said, don't worry about reading those. Book info contains the tagline, where you want the cover to go. So the books to read link is ideal. This is the add to Goodreads URL, which this is not correct. And this is the information that technically should be appearing below the book cover, but I forgot to connect that before recording here, and I want to send you this tonight. And then we've got ebook links. So I've got, you control the call to action, and these are the options. So Harvest, Christian Books, Amazon, Apple Books, Google Play, Kobo, Barnes and Noble. So these would be for ebooks. Let me know if you want me to use Nook instead of Barnes and Noble for the ebook. I can do that. Just let me know, and let me know if you want me to use other ones. And then print, I've got, you control the call to action, and then if you populate a URL for Harvest, then the Harvest image appears, but I don't know if they sell paperback. So Christian Books, I don't know if they sell paperbacks. Amazon, they do. Barnes & Noble, they do. Apple Books, Kobo, Google Play, they don't sell paperback, so that's why they're not listed here. Let me know if you want other paperback or print retailers listed. Audio, disregard this. I will get rid of that, but you control the call to action. And again, these are not real URLs, but you let me know if Harvest and Christian Books have audiobooks or not, because there's no point in me giving you fields if they don't do that. But we could add more. So there's Amazon, Apple Books, Google Play, Kobo, Barnes and Noble. I'm not 100% sure if they do audio. I'll have to double check. Audible and Chirp. Let me know if you want other audio retailer links, because those I need to give you images to go with them. So that's why I need to know if I'm missing any. But you don't have to populate it. If there's no audiobook, you basically leave things behind, can't speak, you leave things blank and nothing appears on the front end. And then book praise 1, 2, 3. This is what he said. That's his name. That's who he is. And then that's the photo. So notice how this is the kind of image I mean. We don't need the circle. My theme will create the circle. And disregard the fact that it's book praise 3 right now. There's a book praise 2 somewhere. They're just not in the right order. This is where you would copy and paste the excerpt if you wanted to, and you could make this a heading too. If you got a scene break, you could center that. If you've got a quote, you could indent that. You could italicize it, whatever you want to do. So this is the one that should be way above. But this does not move the front end of the site. This is just when you populate things so that things appear in the right order. So you have room for 3 quote bits per book. So these are not connected to the testimonial that appear on the homepage, and that's on purpose, so that way you can give a testimonial that is relevant to each book. And then this is where Yoast, this is still there, same as what you used it for before. This is where you give it a call to action, and don't use both here, but you could use either SoundCloud or a YouTube video, quote unquote, if you wanted to. But technically you could also do another call to action. But if you populate something here, what my theme will do is that it will repeat the audiobook retailer links below that section. So that's why I'm calling it audio. So I would recommend you only use this for when you have an audiobook and you want to use an excerpt of the audiobook. Whether you upload it to YouTube or SoundCloud is up to you. Both are free. but it's just that my theme connects. If there's something in the title here, then the audiobook retailer links populated at the top um, in here. So call to action audio, those retailer links would magically be repeated below that audio clip. And then you've also got, this is the real one where you control the title, and this is the YouTube video that you had on this particular um, book page on your live site right now. So disregard the podcast episode. That's because of the plugin you have. That's not relevant to this. You would also have a place to put which order this is in. So at the bottom of the page, when you had the book and the workbook, if you wanted the book to appear first, you would do 1, and then the workbook can be 2. And that's how you control the order in which books appear. Also on the books page, that book order is global. So you will control, like if you want this book to be the 10th book overall, then use 10, and then it would move it down the list, and you could have other books listed below it. And again, those things can be quick edited. There's also an audiobook cover that you can populate in here, and there's an audiobooks page that will self-populate as long as you tag things correctly. I'll explain that later. You don't need to worry about this for now. I don't know what I changed, so I'll just update. I also wanted to show you the blog/podcast because that's an important part of your website. So this is an example of a sample page. I don't know if you want a sidebar. I did not write this down in my notes, so I don't know if you want a sidebar. The blog pages that I'm about to show you will have a sidebar, so that will give you an idea. So right now your content still exists, and that's what it looks like. It's kind of full width, but not full width, because it would be ridiculously hard to read if it was full width. So it's contained within the borders here. It's about 1200 pixels wide. But I could make it less wide and have a sidebar like what I'm about to show you. So on the blog archive page /podcast archive page, this is the sidebar I'm talking about. So subscribe to my podcast, and then these I've got the ones that you gave me, and then if people click on that, then that's a pop-up where they can get the rest of them. I think that's the best way to deal with this. And then this is if people want to get the free book. We could move this above if you want. You tell me what order you want, and if you want something else in that sidebar. And then people will see the regular stuff, like descending order, the most recent at the top. One category appears here. I can only make one category appear here. And then that's the date. People can, I don't know why some of them look like this and some of them look like that. So that's the podcasting plugin, I think, or maybe the excerpts set up that way, but people can play it either way. And I've made it so that there's only 3, because if I make it longer, then that sidebar keeps going, and that's a whole lot of blue. But people can still navigate and access the older podcasts, so that's why I think it's fine, and they can just keep navigating and heading down, and that way Google sees that people are staying on your site longer, they're viewing more pages, and I think overall it's a good thing. If people click to view an individual blog or podcast episode, then it's a very similar layout. Disregard here, that's a glitch. There should be a gap in between like you saw on the archive thing, but you've got that same header image. That's the title, the date, no comments, the category was in. Again, disregard the gap. There should be a gap. That's the way the blog post or the podcast would appear. There might be some tweaking things that I need to do in terms of the font. It's possible that I should be able to apply a global font, but if you've overridden the individual blog post to select a font for one paragraph, I can't really override that. And ignore the gap again, but people can navigate from one to the next, and then they can also leave comments. If they wanted to disregard the pink border, that would be fixed. That is not the way it's supposed to look. So I'll just randomly show you a few more pages here, so that going back, if you like this or if you think you would prefer having the sidebar, and I could style the sidebar differently if you want. I don't know if you're a fan of movement, like I have things animating, the sidebar coming in. I also had movement on the home page. So let me know how you feel about that, how you feel about the background color, the fonts. This is the font name that you gave me, which I'm totally blanking out on. Barlow. I used Barlow semi-condensed, and I used a Garamond font. It's not the exact same Garamond, but it's a similar gamma, and it's a free one offered by Google Fonts, which you don't have to pay royalties for. So uh, let me know anything that I showed you here. Disregard the minor things. I will adjust those things. But colors, fonts, layout, the way the header works, the way the footer works, if you would like me to include the big chunk that is at the bottom of the home page here, I'm just reloading it this here. If you would like to see something like this at the bottom of all of your pages, I could make that happen. It could just become part of the global footer. And this points to your author page or a search result page for your name on those retailers. And then, like I said, don't worry too much about the text here. You'll be able to change the text as you see fit, but each one of those sections points to a particular page. And then this is a checkbox that you select which book appears here. This would send people to your MailerLite account and all of that. So I'll stop rambling. Please provide feedback whenever convenient. Anything you like, you don't like, I want you to be happy with the site I create, so I will tweak.